Hola from Barcelona, Port Blair. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, based on where you are joining us from. First of all, a big thank you for joining, considering the diversity that we have in the group, and I can see the time zones that you are joining us from. So really appreciate you joining, and also it excites me even more to see the energy and enthusiasm towards learning about where our industry is headed and being ahead of the curve in terms of staying up to date with our technology. I see that more and more people are joining, but that's fine. We'll still get started. So this is the first session of a 6-session series that we are doing as part of transitioning to agentic automation. I'll just set the context a little bit. We will have our speakers take it a little further. The idea is that across the industry we have been seeing a massive wave towards talking about these jargons around agentic AI, agentic automation, building agents. There are a lot of white papers coming in, research papers coming in. There is a lot of curiosity. There is a lot of interest. There is a lot of questions as well on what exactly is the capability of this technology. What will my role or my job look like once this technology takes over? And today, as an RPA developer or an automation professional or a business analyst or a solution architect, whatever I'm doing, how is that going to change? And how am I going to be ready? Or how am I going to help my organization be ready with this new wave of technology that is coming in? So that's where some amazing contributors from our community. Mukesh, Satish, and Manoj came together and decided that let us try and address this in a forum where we will have the right minds coming together with maximum excitement, maximum energy, and talk about how we really started, what exactly are the platforms or what exactly are the resources that we have currently today, and how do we really seamlessly transition to this new technology and platform that we have in place. Mukesh, can you help me with the next slide, please? So this is the group that we have. I'm Rohit Radhakrishnan. I manage the UiPath community for Asia Pacific and Japan. I'm based out of Bangalore. I also have Vibhor, who manages the global community advocacy for UiPath. On the call here, I couldn't see everyone, but we also have Corina here, who is the global community lead for UiPath. And we have our speakers, Satish, Manoj, and Mukesh. So before I hand it over to our speakers, Vibhor and Corina, just in case you want to just welcome the group over here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the opportunity to connect with a few good hundreds of you who are all really leading the way into agentic automation. We do like and we support this series and initiative because it goes into setting the right foundation. So while there is a lot of hype and news and the technology advancements that just come and go day after day, the right way of really setting yourself is in a structured way, learning from experts, learning together, exploring by yourself, then making sure that you come back together with the others and growing in skill, in critical thinking, in practice. So we do appreciate all of you for joining and for being the first leaders when it comes to agentic automation. And we look forward to for all of you also to join Mukesh, Satish, and Manoj to become leaders in your local communities, in your companies, for your colleagues, and so on. Is their way of giving and sharing their expertise, and we hope that you will do the same with what you are learning now in the series and with what you will practice in your roles. Looking forward to see your growth further, and thank you for showing passion and love for what you do and your professional growth.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for joining this series, this call. Really excited to see this number, and I'm also looking for that. What kind of experience you are going to have, what you are going to build, how you are going to try. And as Corina and Tim mentioned, that it's also important what you learn from here, how you can share this back to with your colleagues and within your organization. So yeah, really, again, thanks for your time and being part of this overall committee and showing all your excitement and support.
Yes, perfect. Mukesh, can we go to the next slide as well? So, looking at these big numbers, what we really saw is a potential to have a community of agentic automation professionals, and to really facilitate that, we are coming with quite a lot of meetups, events, webinars across different geographies, across different cities. I wanted to share a couple of them. So, in case anyone in this group are either in these two cities or nearby these two cities, Chennai and Pune, we are planning our first Agentic Automation Community Day in April. So, if you are around, I would highly recommend you to register for the events, which is respective to you. We will have a deep dive into how the technology has evolved over time, and you will obviously reconnect on how your career also started with RPA, with the advent of AI, and how it is going to shape with the agentic automation. And we will also have hands-on experience, hands-on build your first agent workshops that will be facilitated through these activities, along with some good use cases and demos. So if you are around, these are in-person events. These won't be recorded. If you are not in these cities, that's fine. We'll keep doing these activities in person and virtually for everyone to benefit from. But if you are around in these cities, please do register and make sure that you are there. Mukesh, next slide, please. If you did not get a chance to scan the code, that's fine. I'll keep posting these links on the chat. So this is the series that you have subscribed to. You all have registered for session number 1, which we are here today. If you have not already done that, please do register for the rest of the sessions individually as well, so that they stay in your calendar and you don't miss out. All the sessions will happen on Thursdays exactly at this hour. So please do make sure that you register and you do not miss out on any of these sessions. In case you feel that any of these sessions are being missed out, you have a conflict and you are not able to attend, I would still recommend you to register, so that you will get a link to the recording of the session and link to the presentation that is being shared during the session as well, so you do not miss out on these activities. Also, for the next session, or maybe even for this session, please share this link with your colleagues, your networks, your friends, whoever you feel this topic or this discussion is going to be relevant for. As you can see, it's an amazing community that we already have in this particular platform, in this window, and we would really want to grow it to great heights. So you can scan the QR code here. You'll find each and every session that you see on the screen. Please do go to individual sessions and register for them. I'll again share the links to each of these on the chat as well, so you don't miss out on those. So thank you all. Let's get the ball rolling. And Mukesh and Manoj, over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Rohit, for the introduction. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. And yes, first of all, I would be taking this session ahead, and then I'll invite Manoj. We have Satish monitoring the chat at any point of time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask on the chat and Satish can answer that. Okay. So a bit introduction. My name is Mukesh Kala. I am a 5 times UiPath MVP now, certified solution architect, also a LinkedIn top voice. Happy to connect with you all. I have shared my LinkedIn details on the chat, so you can find out it there. Okay. So with that, let's get started. Let's start very simple. Okay. So I understand that most of the people here are RPA developers. Yes, you might be an expert into RPA, intelligent automation, but let's try to understand this analogy of agentic by some simple example. Okay. So for example, there is a kid. Okay. And you can see that I have a toy in my hand, right? So there is a kid who wanted to play and he goes to market and he buy this kind of a toy, as you can see on the screen, right? Now, the problem or the way this toy operate is that if I have to move this toy forward, I have to manually push this, right? If I have to move it backward, I have to move it backward. If I have to, again push it, I have to do it, right? So it cannot take any decision of its own. It's absolutely a manual thing which I have to do. If you relate it to your company or enterprises, this is what is a manual stuff. which means that this is entirely depend on my movement. Till the time I do not move it, it don't go forward. It has no automation. If the child does not push it, the car or the toy does not go forward. Now, in the context of automation, it is no automation at all. Everything is being done manually by this, right? That's where we came up with a revolutionary technology called robotic process automation, right? The child got smart and now he got this one, a more fancy car, which is having a remote control in it, remote control car. So now if you try to understand, now, whenever the kid has to move the car forward, he can just click on the remote and the car goes forward, backward, left, right, and this seems to be a very good enhancement, right, for him. Now what happens is the characteristics we see here is the car follows the command of the remote. Now if there is any obstacle which is coming in front of the car, the kid only have the forward button. If it is stuck, it is stuck. It cannot go beyond this point. If you relate this to your robotic process automation, which means that you have coded fixed set of steps. Anything which is happening beyond your automation, the automation is stuck. You are not able to move forward because you have only taught this to move forward, backward, left, or right. So that was your robotic process automation. In the context of RPA, it was able to do the pre-program instruction forward, backward, but when it was actually able to doing something, it was stuck, right? Then what happens? The technology evolves and now it got this kind of toy. You see this one? This is kind of a third kind of robot, which is an autonomous car. You can relate this thing to an agentic AI. So what this thing does? Now, whenever there is an obstacle, it is able to identify, yes, there is an obstacle in front of me. It is able to perceive its environment from this camera and it is able to take the left turn or take the right turn. So basically, it does not have to depend on the fixed set of instruction which the kid was doing. Now, what happens here? This car have three features. First of all, it is able to perceive the environment. It is with the help of these eyes, it is able to understand that what is happening in my surrounding. Yes, I have an obstacle, so I need to take a left. I have an obstacle, I have to take a right. Then it decide which is my best way. Should I take a left? Should I take a right? And accordingly, it takes a action. Now, if you see the characteristics here are the car independently works on the understanding of the environment, right? It adapts to the problem and without giving you explicit instruction. And the best thing, it is goal oriented. If the path is blocked, it try to perceive the environment and find the correct way, right? Now, in the context of agentic AI, this is what agentic AI does. Whenever you have a process, you have an automation, you just have to give the call. Agentic AI will perceive the environment, find it way, and it will get back finally to there, right? What are the takeaways? The first car which I was showing you, which was entirely human driven, that was a manual car. The second car, which was a remote driven car, you can relate it to robotic process automation or RPA. And the third one is an autonomous car which automatically take decision and do all of that thing. That is where you have the agentic AI, right? So that was the first description of the agentic AI. Okay. Now, let me give you one more example and then I'll come to the official definition and all those, right? So that when I read the definition, you guys can relate to. Okay. I call this example as who will fetch the ball? Okay. So there are a group of kids who are playing football in a ground. Now, whenever somebody kick the ball out of the field into the bushes, who is going to pick the ball? So as a group of kids, they have made rules that whosoever kicks the ball, so for example, if Rohit has kicked, he is going to pick that, or whosoever is near to the ball has to pick it. So they have some set of rules. But now this again has some rules defined who is going to pick the ball. If I have to put agentic here, what happens? All of these guys got something and they got a robot whom they called Scout. So now what happens when Scout is there? How Scout will work in this situation? So Scout has just one task. It can understand by looking at the environment. It can monitor the field. It will see that, okay, if the ball is in the field, I don't have to do anything. Simple example, if I don't have this email on my mailbox, I don't have to do anything. If my ticket ratio is not reached this threshold, I don't have to do anything. Same thing Scout does. It just monitors the premises. If the ball is there, well and good. If the ball is not there, he'll try to find the ball, whether it is in the bench, whether it is there, whether it is there. Accordingly, he will find that how do I take the ball. So he can actually plan that, okay, if the ball is behind a bench, I'll take a left, take a right. So he will plan and then take the ball. So if you ideally see here, you did not tell Scout what to do. You just tell the Scout that, hey, Scout, the ball is gone. Scout is able to perceive the environment, understand it, and then get the thing done. With this example, if you'll see why I am telling that Scout is an agentic AI, it has something which is called perception. Whenever you are learning about agentic, you will hear this word very frequent, right? I have to perceive the environment, perception. So what is perception here? The perception is simply that it has to notice that the ball is gone from the field. Then it plans. It has decided that how do I reach to the ball? And then what is the action? The action is it has to retrieve the ball and get it back to the field. So that is why it is an agentic AI, right? Now, that's where we call that the future is both agentic and robotic. You might have seen this slide. So whatever we were doing with structure, logical, wherever it was structured, fixed rule set of defined, this was the left brain. We called it robotic, doing it for a while now, robotic process automation. But when it comes to creative, intuitive decision making capability, we move towards something which is called agentic. And you can see the future is both agentic and robotic. That is what is mentioned in our t-shirts as well, right? So yes, that's where agentic AI is coming in picture. Okay, I'll take a pause, guys. And before I move to the uh, next slide, I want you guys to put in the chat, just say agentic AI, if you guys understand the concept, right? Before I move forward, it is important for us to understand the concept. Just write in the chat, let's say agentic AI. That's it. Okay, great. Okay, super. So we understand what is an agentic AI and how does it work, right? And over a period of time, over these sessions, you will be actually able to get hands on this awesome technology as well. Okay, now what's next? Now, if you see this slide, right, agentic AI delivers the last mile of AI transformation. Now, this is some kind of theoretical, so I can just put my pen. And now when I read this, you guys would be able to relate that from the story which we just discussed, right? Enables automation for complex and dynamic workflow. You don't have to decide. Intelligent planning and synchronization of process. It can plan. Enable collaboration between robots, agents, and humans, right? We'll talk about agents. That's what we have here. Autonomous decision making. Same like we didn't tell Scout what it has to do. We just give him a goal. Independently, active agents involve human as needed, self-learning, healing, continuous improvement, scalability of AI and automation tools. So this is all the theoretical stuff, right? We'll share these slides to you. You guys can refer to. Okay. Now, what do you mean by agentic? Now, if I go here, if you read this definition, there would be three terms which you would hear very frequently: robots, agent, agentic automation, and agentic orchestration. Don't get confused. This is where it is, right? Robots, you guys are aware of. People who are new, robots are the software robots. When I say robot, I don't mean the physical walking and the talking robots. We are talking about robotic process automation. Software robots, they are good into mundane repetitive tasks with the help of fixed rule based stuff. Those are robots, right? Left brain. Then we have the right brain, which is the agent, goal based, right? Every agent has something which is a goal, right? So what is the goal here? The goal here is that, for example, if you take the example of the Scout, the goal was to fetch the ball. So we just gave him the goal and it was able to identify the task. Now, what is agentic automation? If I combine the automation industry leading AI, when I talk about AI, everything related to artificial intelligence, orchestration, I'll just park orchestration for a while. If I combine all of these technologies together and I try to do the automation, I simply call it as agentic automation. Okay. Now, what is an agent? The agent have the skills to do all of this task. In terms of simple skill, it can communicate in natural language. So for example, for the scout, I can just tell him, go get me a ball, fetch the ball is missing. I do not have to explicitly write a fixed set of statement. So you might have used Autopilot that Manoj is also going to demonstrate today. You will notice that how by just writing in the natural language, we are able to give instruction and agents are able to understand the context, perceive its surrounding, and take an actions, right? And it can do a lot of tasks. And the last one is agentic orchestration. Over a period of time, what would happen is that you would have a lot of agents. The individual agents also needs to have some input, output. You need to have a place to store the data. You need to have a memory. You need to manage the context. You need to manage the vector database. So you need an engine that can actually manage and orchestrate all of this. Same like UiPath Orchestrator is orchestrating the complete robotics fleet. You need a orchestration engine to actually orchestrate your agentic automation. And that's what we have, agentic orchestration. Give UiPath the ability to orchestrate a robots agent across the agentic workflows, right? And by the way, agentic orchestration is also available in the public preview now. So you can just sign up and try hands on this as well. Okay. So this is the key points, right? And I can see a lot of people are posting on the chats. Any questions, guys? If you have, there is no silly question. Any questions which comes to your mind related to agentic, feel free to post it on the chat and Satish and Manoj will try to answer them. Okay. Now, let's come to the definition now. What is a agent, right? With all these background, now I'll just read the definition. An AI powered entity that follows the instruction, runs the automation, make decision based on the human defined goals. It interacts with the environment, same like the example we're doing. Collect the information. The car was stuck. It perceived the environment that I have an obstacle. I have to take a left or a right because it has a goal that I need to move forward. Agents can be used to automate complex tasks that require language, understanding, and decision making. Key principle. Whenever you talk about agents, these are the things which you will listen more. Planning, you need to tell, understand the given set of goals and plan the achieve them. What is the tool? If you have to do some of the stuff, how you are actually going to do? What are the tools you are going to use? So for example, today I have to create an agent where I have to read certain data from an email. So for that, I need to connect to my email. And for that connectivity, I need some integration. All those things are your tools. For example, you want to create and read an Excel, or you want to create an Excel out of this agent, right? So you need to have an Excel integration. That Excel integration is your tool. You want to have something from OpenAI or from GPT. You have to make that connection. So that is your tool. So all of these things are tool. Then the next thing is context. I have just maybe written that meet me at the bank. Okay. If I just tell any one of you that meet me at the bank, what you refer from this sentence, right? Is it a bank, the financial institution where we credit and debit our money, or is it a bank of a river? We don't know that. I just say meet me at the bank. But let's say we are staying in a place where we have river, we have house, we stay near to mountains. And when I say meet me at the bank, you know that I'm talking about the river bank and not the financial institution. But let's say we both are an employee of a bank. And then when I say that meet me at the bank, you are going to meet me at my bank and not the river bank because you already have the context, right? So context becomes important into the agent. And that's what we say hallucination and all. We have to have a context. The next one is adaptability. Perceive and process the information from the environment, make the decision aware. And last one is the reflection and the memory, right? We need to make sure that the agent is able to give you proper responses by reflecting on its answer and generating the response. And this is the key principle of an agent. There are more to it, but for a beginner to get started with, these are the things which you should be aware of. Okay. I'll take a pause, guys. If you have any question, right, you can just post it on the chat and then I'll go to the next one. I'll just wait for a minute for you guys to post your question. Yeah, okay, Satish is answering them. Okay. Now, what are the components of an agent? Whenever I have to build a agent, what are the things I need to provide to an agent? The first thing is I need to provide a natural language prompt. In a simple language, I have to tell the agent what I want it to do. It can be as simple as that. I want you to go to my mailbox, fetch all my calendar invites, and tell me what is my availability for tomorrow 5:30. So agent will understand the input, output, what are the tools. In this case is a calendar, and it will give you the response. Natural language. The second thing is context. Before I need to give him some context, some background. The third one is the tools. The tools can be activities we use in UiPath. It can be the existing automations. If you're an existing RPA developer, you might think of your company's orchestrator where you have a lot of different processes which are already running into production. All of those are the automations. With agentic process automation, we can actually hook up all of them together and create a big, large fleet of agentic automation as well. So your existing automation can be tools for the agentic automation. And lastly, escalation. Not every time it will happen that whatever the agent has done would be correct. You would always require a human intervention. So whenever the agents are not comfortable, or they don't know what to do, or is there any input which is missing. So for example, you have created an agent to generate the salary slip, but the HR just went to the agent and say they generate a salary slip without providing the input, which is for which employee, for which month. Agent is going to come back to you and say that, okay, tell me for which employee. So you always need a human loop. It can be with the help of UiPath Action Center, or let's say if you are connected to any of the third-party communication channels like Team or Slack, you can always utilize that as well. So whenever we are designing an agent, we would have these four components coming in picture. Okay, cool. So I think that was all about the definition of the agent, right? And with that, at the bottom, you see there is something which is called AI trust layer with LLM. LLM, when I say it's large language model, and ops is nothing but the automation ops. So whenever we are building agents with UiPath, we are getting something which is called AI trust layer of UiPath. Satish is going to talk about the security layer into the next session. But whenever we are building with agents with UiPath, we have the AI trust layer, and then we have a product which is called ops that manages the governance and transparency while building an enterprise level agents, right? So when we build with agents, we get this from UiPath. Okay. And with that, I'll take a pause. If you guys have any questions, you can post on the chat. And meanwhile, I'll just go and I'll bring up my UiPath studio. Okay, cool. So as we mentioned, right, for building agents, we need different kind of tools to integrate. Now, you might be a developer who is coming from a different background or a programming background, right? So, for example, today, if I have to connect it to any third-party application. Let's take an example of, let's say, OpenAI. If I am not using, if I am not using, let's say, these activities which I'm going to talk about, you have to write APIs, you have to connect via API, serialize, deserialize, put it in a format and get back the response. Very time consuming, very tedious. With UiPath generative AI activities, that becomes a core component while designing the agents. Why that is so and why this is important, that is what I'm going to talk next. But the background for the generative AI activities is UiPath Integration Services, which is a different product from UiPath, which allows you to connect to any of the third-party applications. Okay. Now, why this is
Sorry to
important?
interrupt you, Mukesh. Are you
Yeah,
sharing your studio screen or because we can just see the PPT for now?
yeah. So I'll come to the studio. Yeah, Manoj. Yes, I'm sharing this. I'll come to the this screen now. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. So yeah, first of all, what exactly are these generative AI activity package? Very simple definition. These are the drag and drop activities which are available for you to connect and do a lot of stuff without doing a complex subscriptions or setups. So for example, today, if you have to connect to an LLM, get the data, do PII handling, do the context grounding, all those advanced stuff, you can just use these activities and do all of this in a matter of clicks. If you see the screen, these activities have made to develop AI automation very easy. So if you see all of these activities which you see on here, I'll show you in the UiPath Studio how you can get that. If today I have to generate an email, if I have to detect a language, image analysis, PII filtering, right? Translate, categorize, rewrite, summarize text, NER, semantic similarity, content generation, all of these activities are available in UiPath Studio for us in just a matter of drag and drop. You just have to connect to the integration services, and by just passing one line of input, you are able to use this and put it on your agents, because when you build agents you need a lot of AI capabilities, and to do that you have to write code. But why to write the code when I can directly use the generative AI activities? Again, the same thing. This is supported by the UiPath managed LLMs, and you also get the UiPath trust layer. PII filtering is the personal information filtering. If you are trying to pass some personal information, we also have some activity which is here, which is called PII filtering. It allows you to have context grounding and a lot of stuff, right? Let me quickly show you how does it look like. Okay, and now you should be able to see my UiPath Studio. Okay,
Yes, we can.
so here it is, right? So I have created a small automation into my UiPath Studio. It's a blank solution. I go to the activities, okay, and I click on this guy and I select on this one which is available. So that will give me all the activities which are available. And let's say today I have to generate a content, right? I have to generate content. When I say content, I mean I need to generate some kind of content as I do in ChatGPT, right? I can go here and I can see that I have an activity which is there, which is content generation. And if you see, this is coming from uipath.integrationservice.activity. Today, if I have to do, let's say, NER, which is nothing but named entity recognition, I go here and I say NER. You can see that I have something which is called name entity recognition. This is helpful for the use cases where you have a large piece of text and you give it an information that I want only this particular information from this text. Let's try to see something very easy, that how easy UiPath has made it for you to work with generative AI and in turn with agents. I am building an automation where I have to use this. I use something which is called content generation, right? And if you go to the project, the dependencies added is integration services, right? Now it's asking me to add a new connection. I click here and I say add a new connection. Okay, it will open this. This is the same account which I am using. I just have to go here and I say connect. And my integration is loading, and that's it, right? With just a matter of click, I was able to connect to that. Now, which model do you want to use? You have all this model. I'll stick to this one. Let's say GPT-4. What is the prompt? Let's say, what is Agentic AI, right? And now if you see here, PII detection is directly available here. If you have some personal information which you hide, true, false, you can go here. You can do that, right? Then what is the category of this? What is the system prompt? And all you have to do is just go to the properties here and you get this output. PII confidence, what is the output, content generation, and all of that. So I can just go here and I can just put the output like something like this, and that will give me the output out of this activity. And then you can use this output in the other part of the automation, something like this. And just go here, I say info, and then whatever I have got, I can just use like this. So by just writing one activity, I was able to do that. I'll show you one more interesting activity, right? Which is like NER, named entity recognition, right? So what happens in this activity? Since I have already made the integration, I don't need to do it here. I have to provide an input text. The input text can be an email, it can be a PDF, it can be a resume, right? And then you just have to define the entity, what you want from that thing. So let's say I'm interested to extract the bank account number. So I can just go here and I say bank account, and then you have to define what is the bank account number. It is nothing but a 16-digit number. save, right? And now if you go back here in this, you just provide your input. Again, that is your implementation. You can read it from PDF, email, anywhere, use it from integration services, and then you will get the data directly into the output, right? And all of these activities are available for you to do all of these automations. You can do with the help of images, semantic similarity, semantic matching, PII, and you can build a lot of use cases. Now just imagine if you have to do this same thing with your custom writing automation, how much code you would have to write. With the generative AI activities, I just provide input, output, and I am able to get all of this visibility directly onto my automation. Just deploy it and build any kind of automations, right? Now, I'll go back to my presentation and maybe I'll just switch the view. Okay, so here it is, right? If you see the screen, generative AI activity transforming into agents, content generation, email generation, summarize. You have a huge piece of text you want to summarize, rewrite, language translation, language detection. Simple use case, you are working for a support team who has sending you support queries in multiple languages. You can ask it to detect the language, translate it to English, summarize it, and then generate a response and send it back. By just using 4 activities, you are able to do that. Object detection, you can detect a lot of things from an object, right? Whether it has the signature, where is the account number. Signature comparison, compare the signatures, name and entity recognition, sentiment analysis, that what is the feedback, any use case which you can think of where the customers are giving you the feedback comes into this use case, right? And these are the pre-built agents which you will see when we move ahead, web search, scorer agent, and there are many more coming here. So with using the generative AI activities into your UiPath Studio, you can directly convert them into agents and they can actually hook up to the larger piece of the agentic automation, right? So that's why having a knowledge of integration services and Gen AI activities was important for us, right? And with that, I'll hand over the session now to Manoj, who is going to talk about Autopilot for everyone. Over to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Mukesh. I must say that you have set up the stage perfectly for our agentic automation series with this insightful introduction on the agentic automation. Hello, guys. As you already know, am I audible, Mukesh?
Manoj, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes, yes,
Yep, yep.
perfect. Yep.
Okay, great. Mukesh, can you just share your slides again? You can't see that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello, guys. As you already know, my name is Manoj Batra. I'm also a five times yes, UiPath MVP. I'm currently working with one of the largest bank in UK into the RPA and analytics domain. And in the next 20 minutes, we'll discuss about Autopilot for everyone. So what is that? So Mukesh, can we just go to the next slide? So as you guys already aware about this, UiPath has recently launched Autopilot for everyone, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a conversational AI companion designed to make work easier for everyone, not just for developers or automation expert. Also, it is not a fancy chatbot. It is an AI driven digital, you can say, coworker embedded in the tools you use daily. It could be your Outlook, Jira, Salesforce, CRM, any application, you just name it. Also, with a user-friendly interface, Autopilot for everyone allows every user to chat naturally with AI. Plus, user can also control, which we'll see in a demo. User can also control the data sources and the automations your autopilot can access, making it adaptable for specific need. Let's suppose if you've got a specific need and you just want to use some of the data sources or some automations, you can do that on the fly. Some of the key features for autopilot for everyone. The first one is generative AI. Everybody knows that it creates content, analyze data, generate insights. You need a report drafted, you need to summarize it in an email. Autopilot covered this for you. The second one is your contextual grounding. So unlike traditional automation, which Mukesh mentioned, Autopilot actually understands your workflow and offers recommendation based on the work you do actually. So it is like having an co-worker or a colleague which knows your job inside out. So that person can actually help you there. The third one is automation integration. So here actually Autopilot just doesn't suggest you that okay you should pick this or pick that. It can also run UiPath automations on the fly. And the fourth feature, which I guess is one of the coolest feature here, is Clipboard AI. Everybody again knows about that. It's a AI powered copy paste across apps and documents. You copy it and Autopilot knows where it should go. And the other big part here is, as you can see on the bottom of the slide, Autopilot for everyone is accessible via UiPath Assistant on both uh, Windows and Mac platform. So if you have got any version, you can use Autopilot directly on that machine. Moving on to the next slide, Mukesh. So next slide talks about the tech that powers this Autopilot. Obviously, the primary thing would be your LLM integration. So Autopilot actually use Claude 3.5 Sonnet from Anthropic. This allows it to deliver fast, accurate, and contextually aware responses. And once installed, so the second point is about solution deployment. So once installed, Autopilot deploys its solution package within your tenant's SM. You will find these like as a artifact within orchestrator, so that is already organized for you. So you just go there and get it working. The third one again is your clipboard AI integration. You already know that you get your clipboard AI enterprise, which give you your enhanced automation capabilities for data transfer and document handling. The only prerequisite here is, so make sure your environment is ready actually. So UiPath Assistant or robot version 2024.10.5 or above. Plus you also need to have your enterprise license, such as it could be your automation developer, citizen developer, or attended user. Also, Anthropic model, which we'll see in a bit, also needs to be enabled on your automation cloud tenant in order to use Autopilot for everyone. Moving on to the next slide. Yes, so Autopilot for everyone actually provide you some ready to use out of the box automation. So you don't need to do anything here. Just install these packages on your tenant and you are ready to go. So why to use it? Uh, it actually saves your time. So you don't need to build any custom UiPath automation. It is efficient. We have already tested it for you. And the best part here is it is easy to deploy. Moving on to the next slide. So here I'll not talk about how you can actually, Mukesh, can we go to the next slide, please? So here I'll not tell you how you can actually download and deploy this. So here we have mentioned the steps, but we'll upload this document on the same URL where we'll upload this recording. So you can just follow the steps and install the Autopilot for everyone on your machine. Mukesh, can we go to the next slide, please? Next to next. So the first one is download. The other one is deploying a tool set. So once you download that, these are the steps to deploy a tool set automation within your tenant. So once you are done with that, then you are ready to run your automation from there. The last one here is the prompts one. So here, you know that when generative AI came into the picture, people talk about prompt engineering. You need to write better prompts. So UiPath also come up with some solution for you. So first one is obviously your starting prompt, and this one is my favorite actually, because these are predefined ones. So you don't need to do like things manually. There are some predefined prompts which we'll see in a bit. You can just select that, pass your data, and your automation will provide you the result. The other one is default prompts. So default prompts are available again out of the box, but you can also create your custom prompts. So if there are custom prompts, then default will be overridden by the custom one. Plus along with that we have got feature prompts, so you can actually print top 3 prompts on that your assistant screen. For example, like if you need to uh, write some email about some context, so you can just create a custom prompt with some, we can say that with some value, and then the value can be passed on the fly, and Autopilot for everyone runs that for you. So maybe I can now share my screen and show you how it works, and we'll talk about this prompts, starting prompt, default prompt, custom prompt, and pin prompts. So let me just share my screen with you now and show you how the assistant would look like. So this is my assistant. Where's my UiPath? Okay. So share screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So as you can see here, Autopilot for everyone is now built in into your UiPath assistant, so you don't need to go anywhere. You just open your assistant and you can see I have installed a general productivity package. You can find more packages there on the UiPath marketplace. So depending on your needs, you can install the packages. As I said earlier, it gives you some custom prompts or sorry, some default prompts. So these are the prompts which UiPath provides to you. So maybe I can just ask something from the autopilot. So first one is help me write an agenda for my meeting. So if I click on that, it will appear here and it will ask for the topic. Maybe if I say, okay, now the topic here is agentic automation, it doesn't accept space for now. So if I just hit enter, it will analyze my request, and you can see that within fraction of seconds, it actually generates the complete agenda for you. Maybe I can ask, help me plan a trip to, okay, let's suppose I'll say again, Goa. Everybody loves Goa. Again, it is running some Google thing here. So I'll show you that where you can actually set it. So again, it's gonna take few seconds and will generate, maybe it will generate a complete itinerary for me. So here you can see it has given me everything: best time to visit, getting there, where to stay, things to do. You can ask anything uh, from Autopilot for everyone, and here you can actually set up all these things. So user notes, if you have got any custom user notes, you can actually set up there. The second one is data sources. You remember I talked about you can actually customize your data sources which your autopilot can access. So this is the screen where you can actually say, okay, it will just analyze your document or do a Google search or a Wikipedia. You can just select that. If you have got any data source which is like connected to your orchestrator, you can also do that. The third one is automation. If you have written some custom automation, we can also do that, but we'll see that in the, I guess, in session 2 or session 3, where you can build a custom automation and add that to your autopilot. So this is where you can actually add those stuff. The last one again here is a developer tool, so you can actually add any dev tools here. So this is how you can actually control the functioning of autopilot. Let me just give you more example of how you can use autopilot. So maybe I can just ask autopilot. So I've actually downloaded a CDR, or you can say a invoice for my mobile for this month. So I've asked ChatGPT to create that. Maybe let's first upload this. So I'll say, so I've uploaded a mobile invoice here. So I'll not do anything. I'll just hit enter. Again, it will take few seconds to upload that, and maybe I can ask, what did I upload? Now it will analyze my request. So it will just convert that into readable text if there is a scanned document. So it will just do that, read the text, and will provide me a summary in next few seconds. So it has started running. And again, that also depends on your network bandwidth and the file size. So here the file size is somewhere around 4 MB. So it took around uh, 10-15 seconds to do that. So you can see it has given me all the information here. Maybe I can ask, what's the due date? So simply it can actually work like your Ask GPT, where you can actually upload a document and ask the relevant questions here. Okay, as you can see here, it has written me the payment due date and the amount payable. Maybe I can say, okay, can you provide me the CDR, call detail record, in a tabular format. So the beauty here is you don't need to write any custom automation. If I ask you to write this in RPA, maybe you have to like create a process, and then for CDR you need to scrap the data in some in other way, or maybe in for uh, for fetching the information you need to write automation in some other way. But here you can actually ask the questions on the runtime, and the autopilot will generate for you. Maybe I can just ask the question again. Can you generate the call detail record? Actually, it should, as you can see here, it has generated all the call detail record for me on the fly in just 5-10 seconds. So here again you say I don't need to do anything here. I did not write any automation. I just uploaded a document, and automation for, oh sorry, autopilot for everyone provided me all the results. And again it also give you some prompts as well, suggested prompts. So maybe I can just try one. Can you sort out the CDR by call duration? Again it will go back to the document, read that, and provide me the data. So think about that. If I ask you, you need to write everything into your automation in RPA, this would be, you can say, a tedious task compared to this one. So here in few seconds it will just generate a data on the fly. So this is how you can actually scrap the data. Maybe I can show you one more example. This was your native PDF. Maybe I can upload a scan document here and ask autopilot to generate the text out of it. So let me just see if I can find something. So as you can see on the screen, let me just capture a screenshot here. Let me just capture this screenshot only. So this is an image. So it has, can you help me convert that into a CSV format? So what I did is the information that I got, I just captured the screenshot. So basically I convert that data into text data into image, and ask autopilot to convert that into a CSV format. So basically it again analyzed the document uh, because it's a scanned one. So it analyzed the document and provide the data into the CSV format. So that's the beauty of autopilot, where you can actually uh, run multiple automations on the fly without writing a single line of code, or creating any process. So yes, this is all about again if you want to see the history here, so history lies there. You can always go back and see all the histories here. You can always start a new chat. Maybe I can show you one more screen if you want to see the tokens and everything, how it looks like. So for that I need to go to Chrome again to show you how it works. So share again. Where's my Chrome? That is on this screen. So if you see here, this automation has been running for the past 1 hour, and it will show you. So it will be appear into this autopilot folder under jobs. And if I click here, you can see the autopilot is still running because it is running in the background here. You can also see the logs. Logs will contain all the tokens, all the information, everything you can find. So basically you can track your conversation here as well. You can see that token expiring in this time, then data provider search, data Google search, whatever search is there, it actually shows up there. So this is all about autopilot for everyone. And if you have, if you guys have got any questions, you can ask us now in the chat, or maybe you can just unmute yourself and ask questions. Thank you.
Hey Manoj.
Hi Harish.
Hey. So I just thought maybe I missed that. What was the data source for that CDR you pulled?
So actually, I asked ChatGPT to basically create a dummy mobile bill for me, including a CDR.
Okay, okay, got it.
Hey, hi. This is Vijit this side.
I
I just want to ask that can we train Autopilot for our own data set?
Yes, that is quite a possibility. Yes, with the help of contextual grounding, which we'll cover in session 2. Yes, you can do that.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thanks.
Guys,
Yeah, hey
Uh,
Manoj.
yeah,
so
yeah,
Yeah, I have
go
a
ahead, guys.
question.
Can we just pull up a slide, guys, so that just give me a moment. Yeah,
Yes.
you can continue with your questions, right? So I'm just pulling a slide where you had a QR, so that before people drop off, you guys can
Yes.
just scan
Hey, Manoj.
this. Yeah.
So, Manoj, I am having a question. My question is this is beneficial for business users, correct? Means for business users, they can write something required and that document will be provided. But how it is helpful for us means how we will be means this is something we are writing and for the autopilot is providing us, but what we can make out of it, this is my question.
Are you
It
are
might
you
be
so you don't come from business background, right?
no,
And
no, I'm
you
not
want to
from business.
understand if you're a developer, how autopilot for everyone would be beneficial for
Yes,
you.
yes,
So maybe autopilot for, as I said, it is autopilot for everyone, not just for developer or for any automation expert. So what you can do here is, while building any automation, if you need some kind of a support, maybe if you want to understand how a particular thing works, you can go to again autopilot for everyone and ask your question. Maybe the simple question could be, what is a data table? How does it work? If you want to build something, some code, something like that, you can also ask your uh, autopilot for everyone, because as I said earlier, the background LLM model here is Anthropic, so it will just pass your input to Anthropic and will pass you the result. So for developer, you can use in that way.
okay.
so Manoj, it's like just like the have to understand the prompt engineering to have it right of or give us a proper response, right? So we just need a proper prompt engineering techniques too. So it's just like that.
Yeah, the base here is, yes, your prompt engineering skills should be good enough to, so that the LM can actually understand what you are actually, what is actually your ask is. And this is just not with autopilot for everyone, this is with every LLM. You need to pass the right prompt in order to get the right result. So yes, you are right, your prompt should be sensible enough for the LLM to understand. And along with that, as I said earlier, it provides you some prompts, like some default prompts are there. You can create your custom. So like, let's suppose if you build any automation, which we'll see in either in session 2 or session 3. So let's suppose if you have built an automation and you want user to run that, so you can actually set your custom prompts within orchestrator, and user can just follow along that. You can also categorize that. Click on that, and the automation will run. So it is just not like that. That package there, you can create your own automation as well, and we and that your automation can become a part of autopilot for everyone.
Guys, I just want to address one question, right? A lot of people are asking, how can developers actually benefit out of it, right? And is it part of the studio, right? So if you guys are able to see my screen, if you have the latest version of your UiPath Studio, okay, you would see Autopilot directly into your UiPath Studio as well. If you see on my screen, this is UiPath Studio. You can see here, you can ask a question. The other thing is, this thing is actually available into a lot of your activities as well. If you, let's say, today I want to write an expression where I want to get the latest date. I want to get today's date, right? But I don't know the syntax. I can just go here and I say, get the latest date. I generate this. This is using Autopilot for Studio, right? So this is on the different activity. Yeah, I just did this, right? Yeah. So here you can see it has, I have done it on a different activity and it generated this, right? But now let's say, as Manoj was mentioning, right? How can I do that? I created this some syntax on my UiPath Studio because I was using the content generation. Now I want to understand this, what this has been generated. I can come back to my Autopilot for everyone and I can ask it to explain me this. So that way you can use UiPath Studio to generate a syntax, Studio Autopilot for everyone to understand it. The other question is, a lot of people are asking that can it generate the code on its own? The answer to that question is yes. If you are using Studio Web or if you are using UiPath Studio, if you go here and create a new sequence, right? At the starting, it is going to ask you generate with Autopilot. So you can just write the syntax here. Something like read the emails and something like download the attachment, right? It cannot do the full-fledged automation for you, but these small kind of tasks can be easily done with Autopilot for everyone, which internally is again using your integration services, right? And then in the background, GenAI activities, right?
And,
So all of these components are working together.
and Mukesh, many people
Yeah.
are asking one more question. Thank you for the session. And many people are asking one more question. I also have it. Like how to get those activities of this generative activities, what you just showed, right?
You
Because in
just
our
have
managed packages, like the integration service, this one dependency is not showing.
no, you if you go to your activities, okay, if I just so first of all, you need to have okay, so in your cloud account, whichever you are using, right, you need to have the integration services enabled.
Okay.
So if I go to my cloud account, right, so integration service is a different product altogether. So if you go to your cloud.uipath.com, right, so here in my here see integration services, I have
Yeah.
enabled it, right? So could go to the admin and
Tenant.
I think
You can go to the
tenant,
You need
yeah,
to go to tenant and stuff. Yeah.
tenant, and then services. And here integration services has to be enabled. If not, you just have to add the services, enable it, and then you would be able to get all of this package, right? But I think installing the package does not needs to have that, right? So you can just right click on this, click on manage, and just install uipath.integrationservices.activity.package. But utilize that, it has to be enabled.
Okay. And just one last question, like it will be feasible and working in the 2023 version also, because I have a license version.
Yes,
Yeah.
23 also integration services there, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Mukesh.
Hi, Naresh.
Hey. So, Mukesh, I'm still confused how that as agentic automation will help us to uh, automate the repetitive task. I mean, still we have to use our RPA. Am I correct?
No, so RPA is only doing the mundane repetitive task. So let me give an example, right? So let's say
Mm-hmm.
today your task is to just go to a SAP portal, do some automation and generate an email, right? Now
Right.
the input to that SAP process may be an Excel file, which you have read from assets or reading from an email, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have 1000 business customer who have a different Excel at different time, right? It's not
Okay.
possible with the help of uh, RPA automation, right? I have to do a lot of scheduling, logs, and all. I have
Hmm.
Autopilot for everyone. I just give them an interface, drag and drop the file, right? And they just say, trigger the SAP automation. That's it.
Okay.
It will take as
Okay.
an input, understand the context, generate the input. If they see that the data is missing into the input file, it can also ask you a follow-up question that, hi Naresh, I see that you uploaded an Excel, but let's say the order ID is blank. Provide me the order ID.
Mm-hmm.
That way.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
in that way, it will. I mean, that bot will not work. That will fail, and it will ask question to
No,
user.
it will not trigger the automation till the time all the inputs are there.
Okay, so that will validate the
Yes.
details what bot is required. After that, it will trigger the automation.
Or agentic orchestration.
anyways, you still have to
Yeah,
write
hey
your
Mukesh, I
Yes.
have a
password.
question.
As you can see on our t-shirt, the future of automation is both agents plus robots. So it's not like that you will not write any code or you will not create any process. Obviously, you will create a process, but where agentic mind is required, you will build an agenda.
So, sorry, Mukesh, I just have one question regarding the integration services. You just enabled it on the cloud platform.
Cloud 10.
So, if I want to use it on my local the local frame that I've installed on my like on a studio, local studio, not on the cloud. So, from where I can install those packages for the Gen AI or
Integration
go
services, you're mentioning of the on-prem Mohammed?
yeah, I'm mentioning about that because I was just trying to find it on my activities, but I couldn't find the activity for it.
integration service is not available today on prem. The only thing which is now available for you is you have to use the API, right? And to connect to that services. But if you see it ideally, if you don't have access to the cloud, how are you going to connect to the Gen AI, which is again a cloud? So for that, your generative AI also have to sit on premise, right?
No, yeah, I understand that. I was just
Hmm.
like, I was curious because
Yeah.
I do not want to use the cloud studio. I
Yeah.
want to use the on-prem studio. So that
Yes,
was how I'm
that's
asking about.
that's absolutely possible. You can just use the API connector with like this get HTTP request and all, right? That will allow you to connect to those activities directly. So
Mukesh,
no need to. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, hey
Satish.
Mukesh, I
Okay,
have a
thank you.
question.
sorry, go ahead.
Mahesh
Hi.
here.
Yeah, Mahesh, please.
Yeah, hey Mukesh. When I'm trying to install the autopilot, it was saying like unable to install autopilot with the request code of 403. Am I missing anything in the prerequisites or
See,
But
by just the error message, it's very difficult to get it right. So maybe I have posted some of the step-by-step things, right? If it is available on your admin section, you can see it is installed and available. Maybe you can just try restarting. If the issue persists, maybe you can write a forum thread because by just 403 it's very difficult to get right what exactly is missing. So the whole idea is your entropic cloud. So there are 4 or 5 prerequisite which Manoj was showing, right? I'll again put the step by step video to install autopilot. Maybe you can just go and double check if you are missing anything, and
yeah,
if
okay.
not maybe you can just write it back to us
Okay,
so
and
it
one
will
more
be helpful.
question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this AI assistant and autopilot for everyone?
Which one? What was the first one? Sorry.
AI assistant. There's
Where
one
is
product called AI assistant, right? What's the difference between autopilot for everyone and AI assistant?
AI assistant? Sorry, Satish, you want to
Yep. Yeah. So
okay.
basically, when we talk about the autopilot, it is available everywhere. It is not only available on your assistant, but also available on a studio, also available on your orchestrator. So when we say that it is autopilot for everywhere, right? That's the reason we call it autopilot for everyone. But when you specifically talk for the assistant, which is UiPath assistant sitting locally on your machine, there it is called UiPath AI assistant. So
Yes.
yeah. I want to add few things here. Okay, so because I see a lot of questions around about the how the agent builder will be utilizing the licensing, AI units, and a lot of other stuff, right? So one thing I wanted to tell you here is the product is still in preview, right? And we it will be going to release maybe by end of April, right? And then you'll have a lot of details about how the consumptions of AI unit and the consumptions of robot unit will be happening, right? That is still in discussions, and those details will come. Other thing I wanted to add here is we are discussing these integration services, autopilot. Reason being, we are building a foundation. By utilizing that, we should be able to build an AI agent, right? Say for example, I build an AI agent, I want that AI agent to run from assistant. How I should be able to do that? Or I want that some of the Gen AI based activity to be utilized into my agent. So that's the reason this session is all about covering all those the features which are already available, right? And once we learn, we understand that there are Gen AI activities, there are UiPath assistant, there are autopilot for everyone, and then by combining all of these all together, we'll be able to put AI agent which can basically work with the human in the loop, or which can work with agents only, or it can work with agents plus RPA. Alex, you have a question, I guess. You tried to speak previously, but I think we stopped you. So ask your question, please.
Yeah, thanks. So I was wondering, is there any plans for adding O3 Mini into the content generation as like a model option?
There are a
Or
lot of
any of the
discussions.
reasoning
There,
models?
yeah, there are a lot of discussions going on actually, and product team is currently being evaluating a lot of reasoning models. Right, there are a lot of reasoning model has come in last couple of weeks, and previously even in the agent builder we have only Chat GPT 4.0. Now we have Claude and a lot of Gemini is also getting enabled. Right, so product team is evaluating which model works best for them, and because how UiPath will work is there will be a LLM gateway, right? And that LLM gateway will decide which model has to be picked up for the which task. So the work is in progress. I could see. Yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, one question for Rohit here. Rohit, do we know when we can, the ones who have registered for Agent Builder and those who are on the wait list, by when can we get the access to Agent Builder? Because it has been some time that I have been on the wait list, just raising this question.
I wish I had the answer to that. So right now we have been giving access to some of our customers for feedbacks. A lot of things are changing as we speak. So that is why we haven't really been able to extend it. I feel that a big wave of approvals will happen around DevCon, that is on April 30th, where we will have launches around this platform.
Okay, so somewhere after the DevCon, we can expect it to be rolled out
Yeah.
for the community users. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mukesh. One question from my side as well. Um, I noticed one unattended bot was started as soon as the autopilot screen was loaded. I have tried that myself as well. So just wanted to know if, let's say, 50 people are using autopilot for everyone, this means 50 attended bots will start in Orchestrator?
It is in your personal workspace which is getting triggered. That is the one you are referring to, right?
Yeah.
Right, correct. Yes. So as soon as the autopilot start, yes, it is going to trigger that start. But it is in your personal automation, right? Because if I see this, right, and Satish, if you want to add, if I miss something, please feel free to add, right? Because whenever you give access to the assistant, right, autopilot
Yeah.
is a part of assistant, you need to have given the user the access of the attended robot, right? Which means that you also have given the personal workspace automation, and a job needs to be run in the background so that it can understand the context and, as I mentioned, perceive the environment, right? So yes, it would work in the personal workspace of the user.
Yeah.
So
And other
basically, we need 50 attended bot licenses.
But
Let's say,
that you would
assuming
always
I'm,
need to, if in case you want to have give access to autopilot for everyone, you
yeah,
need to have, you would have already have access of those by the assistant license, right?
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that person should have like got access to assistant,
Mm-hmm.
Assistant, right? Then
attended license,
only
or yeah.
it is just adding that
Yeah.
policy, right? It's the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. And another one, so I also saw you used Autopilot in the studio.
Yeah.
Will that also consume AI units, same as Autopilot for everyone from Assistant?
No, it's part of the product. It's part of the product.
Okay, so only Autopilot for everyone will consume AI units after the free
Yeah, as
units.
Satish was mentioning, right now that part is still not clear,
Okay.
so we don't
clear,
want to
yeah,
give any
any definite
any
answer. So
definite answer
yeah,
for that, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I
because what
saw this in the costing sheet of
Yeah.
UiPath, so just
yeah,
wondering.
no,
Um,
that's very true, because what is happening is, see, these LLM models are not, very easy to be consumed by mass of people, right? So
Yes.
somebody has to, the cost model has to be break down in a such a way that it should be effective for everyone, right? So as a part
Yeah.
of product offering, some unit will be provided to everyone, but after the consumption of those AI units, you will be charged,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how the model will come. But after how much unit you will be charged, what will be the charges, it will be based on token sizes, it will be based on, the calls. Those discussions
Okay.
are still in progress, right?
Okay. Thank you for the answer and nice session, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
hi Mukesh.
Hello.
Mukesh, I want to know that suppose I have made one small agent that is valuable for my organization. I want to deploy it in a platform where other can use it
Uh-huh.
without, they don't have those orchestrator license. They are not involved in orchestrator, but they are genuine people. How they can use it?
I think I lost you in between, but I think I understand the question. You wanted to have an agent and you want to give access to your colleagues, right? Who are not into this platform, right? So
Right,
as I
right.
was mentioning in the slide, we can have a custom interface in place. That could be Slack, that could be Teams, right? When you say that you want to give access to your colleagues, they need to have an interface. Today, the interface for us, which we showcased, was Autopilot for everyone. It has capability to connect to Teams. It has capability to connect to Slack as well, right? So all you have to do is from the Slack, you have to call your agent, which is being deployed.
It's a API calling, basically.
It's a API calling, right?
Through Teams also it is possible, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's an API call. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And guys, before you guys leave, right, I hope you guys like the session, and we would really appreciate your feedback. If you could write something about the session over the LinkedIn, feel free to tag us, Rohit, Vibhor, UiPath community, and invite your friends, colleagues for the next sessions. If they have missed that, you would find the recording link back into the same link where you registered. That would be helpful, right? So we'll wait for your post over LinkedIn, right? And guys, we are over time, so we can just take maybe last 3-4 questions.
And maybe for
Hello,
others,
Mukesh?
yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, Sandeep here. I have one question. When I trying to invoice processing with using the document understanding, so I need that time I'm getting the one error, the limitation error. So in the enterprise version for document understanding, the another license need to purchase, or any other licenses also need to purchase.
See, when you run document understanding on the cloud version, right, you have a limitation of 4 pages, and there is some limitation which I exactly don't know, but in the enterprise, it should not happen. And if you are using the
Okay, in the
enterprise,
enterprise, it's
then I think
yeah.
you should directly raise it to your UiPath enterprise support, because those will be the best guys
Mhm.
to support you, because you are anyways an enterprise user, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I see Ashish Rao. I see your hands up. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Mukesh. So good evening.
Yeah.
So this is regarding the autopilot itself. So I was trying the autopilot for everyone, which is still available with us. I had one question regarding that. So when I was trying by myself, so my assistant was connected to my workspace. Like when everyone gets their workspace, right? So there I was able to access the assistant, but when I moved it to a particular folder where I connected my assistant through to an unrelated robot, so we connect with either service URL or the machine key. When I did with machine key, I cannot access the autopilot, but with the service
Service
URL,
URL.
I'm able.
Yes.
So is it
Yes.
like that? I have to connect to service URL to access autopilot?
Exactly. So that is what they have also mentioned in the documentations as well.
Okay, okay. So with unattended setups, I cannot do it. That I have to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either you need to be automation developer, citizen developer, or attended user. So these are the three licenses you need to have in order
Okay,
to run.
okay. So I had converted everything to unattended license. Probably that's why.
Yeah, that
Okay,
could be the
got
issue.
it.
Okay.
Cool.
Then
Thank
I
you.
have Lakku Sharma. Thank you, Ashish, for the question.
Yes, yes.
Lakku Shushma. Sorry, my bad.
Yes, Mukesh. Hi.
Hey. Hi.
Actually, I had a doubt regarding like now we have analyzed single document of PDF uploading to Autopilot, right? So can we analyze PDF documents from directly from the local path of um, like any system where your path assistant is there? And can we analyze that into Excel? Like, can we take the analyzed data into Excel? Will that work with Autopilot?
I think Excel today is not available as an input. You cannot directly drag and drop an Excel, right? But for that, what you can do is you can always write an automation, a normal UiPath automation, right? And then you can use Autopilot to invoke that automation. So for example, I can just go to Autopilot and say that generate the automation for doing this stuff. So that way.
Got it.
Yeah.
Actually, it is different case. Like same PDFs, can we read it from local path? Is it possible? Like a collection, four
Just
or
drag
five
and drop.
PDFs from the local
Okay.
path. Can we do it as a loop? Like all the
No, that
PDFs
see, as soon
analysis
as you say
like that.
loop, you need to write a logic, right?
I got it. All the
Hmm.
PDF analysis like that.
Yeah.
Will that be possible? Like
You need to write an automation for that, right?
got it.
Because you need to tell the Autopilot that I need to go to this folder. In that folder, I can have Excel PDF. So read this PDF, loop them, and then provide to this, right? So
So
that
I
would
can
require.
create
Yeah.
an automation and
Yeah.
define it in Autopilot for everyone, and then I can
Yes.
give a prompt to run the code. That's
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
so this is what we are going to cover in, I don't know, session 2 or session 3. I need to
Sanjay,
see
yeah.
that. Yeah.
We will cover
But
that. Yeah.
yeah, we'll cover
Got
that.
it. Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then, guys, we are going to take last 2 questions in the interest of time. We only have
Hello, I
about
have one
yeah.
question.
Hey,
Hello.
Pedro. Yeah.
Hello. For example, if we are using an automation with Autopilot, how we are sure that the response from the Autopilot has the format that we need for feed this automation?
Good question. So when you design automation, we have the input and the output arguments, right? So same like when you design this automation, Autopilot currently is giving you, I think, in the form of text, in the form of data table, and there is one more format, right? So when you define that automation into your UiPath orchestrator, there you have this setting, right? So simple answer, it is able to take care of that with the help of input and output arguments. You can think it as of the input and output arguments which you give to your process. So you can
Okay.
control that. You have that option.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Team, one
Yes,
question
sir.
from us.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the introduction of LLMs, we do have the capability to read values from structured, unstructured, and semi-structured documents. And on the other side, you have document understanding where you need to do labeling things and stuff to extract the same value from the document. So what is the future of document understanding module where we need to do labeling and things, or which use case we might need to go for document understanding and for which use case we need to go for LLM?
It's a very interesting question, right? That why when I should use document understanding. Again, that is just me, right? I would request Satish and Manoj to add on that, right? So whenever my requirement is very simple, right? Let's say just extracting the total, maybe just extracting a little bit information, I would strictly go for GenAI because it is able to do that. But when my requirement is more complex, where I want to do the classification, I want to identify what kind of document it is, I want humans in the loop, I want to make sure and that it is following the proper mechanism to extract the data, because when you use GenAI, we do not have much of the control. But when I use document understanding, I can go to, let's say, regex, form extractor, ML extractor. I can retrain the data for all those use cases, which is more extensive towards the document understanding. I'll like to go with the framework. But when it is like a very small use case, like just extracting the total, give me the sum up and all, I would like to go with GenAI. Satish, Manoj, you want to add something to
And
that?
yeah, I want to add here. Many times, what will happen is if you go with the generative AI, right? So one of the model will not be able to help you. There might be a case you have a contractual document and that contains, hundred of pages. Each document contains tables and nested tables, right? So in those cases, what will happen, straight away, only one model will not be able to help for the data extraction, right? And there are a few more other challenges. So recently, UiPath, I don't know if you have seen that, but UiPath has recently combined their communication mining and document understanding in a new capability called UiPath IXP, which is intelligent extractions and processing, which is basically a multi-model data extraction capability. So with the help of multi-model data extraction capability, you should be able to understand unstructured and complex documents, right? So again, it will depends how you want to solution it. What is your use case? From the bigger document, you want to read only one field, go with the basic OCR or go with basic string manipulation. If you want to understand few parts of a table, if your generative AI activities are helping you or document is helping you, do with that. If you are not able to get the desired result, utilize UiPath IXP.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so the last question, guys, for today's session, we are going to take from Sushila, right? And then we'll see you in the next session, right? Yes, Sushila, over to you. Okay, seems like that was a mistake of raising hands. Okay, great. So I think, yeah.
I have one question, Mukesh. Sorry to interrupt.
No, just go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I had this question. So, if our that autopilot is there and it is connected to our attended license, and then of course, once we get the user input and we understand the intent, it is triggering the attended flow. So, by default, it will run on our system, or it will run